up, everyone? Merry Christmas. I'm very happy to be back here doing another Spyderplays video for you. And this is something I've been wanting to do for about the last 4 years now. Now we're going to be talking about something that really pisses me off, and I think they're big piles of shit, but I need to just get it all out. I need it all out of my fucking system. The things we're about to talk about are a complete waste of fucking space and money, and I'm sure fill landfills everywhere now, or a loser's apartment like me. Because these fucking things are stuck to me like flies to shit. I attract them for some reason. The things I'm about to talk about are like these fucking awful things that everyone just wanted to move on and forget about, even though I still own some of these. And what we're going to be talking about is only a step above these. And they're still pretty fucking terrible at that. Now, what exactly are we talking about? Well, plug-and-plays. Yes, plug-and-plays. You're all familiar with them, right? You saw them all at the store at some point, I'm sure you have. They look like this. They're all modeled after this design. This is an Atari 2600 controller, but it seems like 90% of the plug-and-plays I've come across, they're all modeled after this. They all follow the exact same design. You got, select, start, you got a reset button and on and off switch, a standard joystick that's affixed to the top of the thing, and a button. Usually there's an A and B button on a lot of these, but this is an Atari plug-and-play, so the reason I'm showing this off is for what I just stated, and I already used this plug-and-play, so I don't have to re-record it. I did it for Atari April a number of years back for Glenn Plays. I played all the ones on here, and I liked them. It's still not an Atari console, so it sucks. The one other key thing here is when you're looking at the AV cables, there's two of them. You only got a video and one audio jack, which really fucking sucks for trying to record this shit, because you only get one channel of audio then, because most VCRs, especially, my DVD recorder over here, they got 3 channels. There's 2 audio channels and 1 video. So, when I needed to record these things, especially for this one a few years back, and the Power Rangers one I did a few years back for Glenn Plays, and another SpongeBob plug-and-play that I had that I also did, I had to come up with something. And this is before I even knew that they sold a device like this at the store. I created a splitter here. Of course, it looks like shit. It's, duct taped together with green tape. One end that plugs into the audio. And now I got a video. And, 2 more audio channels. So the audio doesn't sound like complete shit when I record it. It's going to sound like shit no matter what. They're plug-and-plays. They're really shitty devices. They don't age well. They break easily. Why am I even talking about this? Now I'm going to discuss why they're fucking shit. And I know this because I got a whole box of them that somehow they just accumulated at my place. Every time someone wanted to throw shit out, I'd have a few consoles in there, some old games, and then 2 or 3 of these fucking things that always make their way into these tubs of shit people give me. Everyone's just like, well, you love video games, Glenn, here you go. And they're interesting pieces of the past, and I just really wanted to talk shit about them. One thing I noticed from when I saw these things at the store to the time I saw these in bins landing at my apartment or my old house is that they all share a lot of commonalities. On all the old packaging, I remember it saying, like, well, there's tons of games on here, there's no need to buy extra cartridges. It's one thing that you just plug into your television. All for a great low price of $20. That's how much these average out on. Well, one other thing I wanted to mention to put the money and rip-off and non-practicality factors in perspective is this. Now, look at this fat tub of shit. I have 20 plug-and-plays in here. Most of them were given to me, but I paid for 3 of them, each $1 a piece from St. Vincent's thrift store. I'm wondering to begin with how many older people or non-gamer knowledgeable people were duped into buying these things new for kids or dopey gamer friends like yours truly. Now, these things new are $20 a piece on average. You go 20 times 20, that's $400 right there. And then you have to factor in what it takes to power these things. Now, what would it cost to have each of these installed with batteries and at the ready to play? Each one of these things takes 4 AA batteries, and let's say we just go to Walmart and buy the cheaper batteries, not the Duracells or Energizers. They're like $10 for 16 batteries, the Rayovac ones. It would take 80 batteries to power all these things at once if you just want to pick one up and go play it. That'd be $50 in AA batteries alone. So to buy all these things and keep them powered with batteries, that's $450. Just $75 shy of what I pay in rent for my apartment each month. What a massive scam and a waste of money. They usually ended up not being played after a while. People would forget about them, and the batteries would explode in them anyway. It's stuff that's destroying our Earth, man. You want to talk about, global warming and the greenhouse effect and pollution? Plug-and-play games. Stop manufacturers from making plug-and-play games. Even though I think production of these has really gone down in recent years, like ad games and stuff like that. Companies that have been called out for their bullshit are starting to go under. You're starting to see less and less of these plug-and-plays in the store now. And now you're just seeing more and more of these one-up arcade machines that are overpriced and could possibly end up the way of this. But they don't take batteries. So I guess that's a good thing. Anyway, these companies were full of shit. Well, with all that being said, I'm going to start out with one of the worst pieces of shit, one of the worst offenders of this whole plug-and-play scam of all time. It's one of the worst things I've ever fucking seen. We're going to start out with the Etch-A-Sketch Plug-And-Play. This thing is one of the biggest piles of shit and one of the biggest scams I've ever seen. Now, remember what I said that a lot of these plug-and-plays only have 2 jacks? Just one video and one audio? There isn't many audible features on this thing. There wasn't any audible features on the original Etch-A-Sketch, if you remember that toy. A lot of us had an Etch-A-Sketch. There was like metal flakes in there, and I think it worked with magnets. There's 2 dials on it. You move the dials around, one horizontal, one vertically. It makes a picture with magnets, pretty much. Somehow they tried to translate that to this. And this has 3 AV ports on it, AV channels. There's 2 audio channels on this thing. Why in the motherfuckity fucking fuck would something like this need 2 audio channels? Because you're about to see this thing sounds like complete shit too on top of it. Now, to make it even worse, if you look at the back of it, there's 2 battery compartments. So that means there's 2 screws you have to undo, which makes it even that much more tedious to try and play this thing. I don't think there's a whole lot of these around, because I really think kids got sick of this thing in like 2 minutes and just tossed it to the side, and the batteries are just popping it like you'd see everywhere else. The thing that perplexes me is that there must have been like other things you could do with it, but playing this, for the life of me, I can't see what it would be. But there's an expansion port on this. It's a cartridge slot. I don't know what it's for, and I don't really want to look up information on it because I just don't care. Now, each one of these plug-and-play videos for the 12 days of plug-and-plays here on Spyderplays, we're going to first look at the layout of this thing. We're going to take a different approach to these videos. See what they are, see how they're designed, and look at the controls of them. Now, if you look at this, there's a lot more buttons on this thing than the original Etch-A-Sketch, and we'll find out in a second why there is so many. There's a C and a D button, and then you got an E and an F button, and then you got the 2 dials, which I'm assuming they're supposed to, try to simulate the 2 dials on an Etch-A-Sketch. You got A and B, and they're like really weird feeling D-pads, and they do not work well. And of course, you got your on-off and menu button like they all have. They all have that on-off menu button. Well, without further ado, I'm going to go have a shot and start playing this pile of shit for you guys. Well, one thing I failed to mention is that these things usually come pre-programmed with anywhere from 4 to 8 games. But not this one. The first thing you'll notice when you start this thing up is the awful, horrid fucking sound, which only reinforces my complete hatred of why this thing's got 2 audio channels and not just 1, like the rest of them. Instead of the mini games, it's just a paint program, pretty much. And you'll notice all the functions on the side of the screen there. You got a word bubble function, which is, I'm assuming, for text. Yeah, a brush feature, which is for brushing. There's a spray can that very slowly paints the background, and I'm talking very fucking slow. There's sunglasses, and I have no fucking idea what this really does. It might be for clip art, it might be copy and paste. I don't know. I couldn't really get it to work. It's just like a spread box. I don't know. There's an oil dropper, which is a clip art function. There's a text for text. The scissors are supposed to undo your mistakes. The sandwich is for supposed recent things. I don't know, it looks like a sandwich. The hand changes the brush color. It's not very self-explanatory. It's not very clear. There's a paper function, which is, I'm assuming, to create a new piece of paper for your artwork, there's a back function. And there's a save file function for if you want to save your artwork. Oh boy, now let's get into the control area. First, you got an A button, which is like the knob on a Etch-A-Sketch, and A controls the menu functions, like up and down. C doesn't seem to really do anything. I couldn't really get it to work, so I'm guessing they just put it there as an aesthetic to make it look even with the other controls. B is the drawing function, kind of like the other knob on an Etch-A-Sketch. F selects the menu subsection and the text, and E selects the main menu options. And to draw, you hold D and use B to draw around, and it's very stiff and clunky and very, very terrible in so many ways. The controls are just so stiff and sloppy, and it doesn't seem like you can ever draw anything, and at times it's just really unresponsive and all over the fucking place. It barely functions as its main intended purpose, as, you know, a paint program pretty much. It doesn't resemble anything of an Etch-A-Sketch. In fact, playing it with an Etch-A-Sketch is a hell of a lot funner than this shit. The thing is, there was already better programs out there before this thing even came out. It's got no reason to exist at all. If you really want to play something similar to this, get yourself a Super Nintendo mouse, and the Mario Paint. That was actually alright for just being a standard old paint program on a Super NES. Or just go back to the basics and just load up your old PC or your laptop and just use Microsoft Paint. For fuck's sake. That's what all this shit was based off of anyway. Just use that. Anyway, the whole thing sucks. This thing was it just sucked right out of the box. The sound sucks, the graphics sucks, the controls sucks, the looks of it sucks, everything fucking sucks. It just sucks. It just sucks. It sucks, the big one, is what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that it sucks dick, is what I'm trying to say here. And I can't even draw a dick on this thing to show you. And there you have it. Worthless. Worthless pile of shit. There's no reason for this to exist at all. This was purely drawn up and put into production just to rob people of their money. This is something that kids probably played with for about 10 minutes and never played with it again when they got tons of other good shit around to play with. You know, this thing came out in 2004. There was a bunch of great toys to play with back then. The PlayStation 2 was already out. I think they were even moving past that at that point. And in the 2000s, the Etch-A-Sketch is kind of an irrelevant toy. I can't imagine a whole lot of kids actually playing with that anymore. I mean, I still have one. Connor never used it. When he was 3 years old, he never wanted to use it. It just kind of sat there. So making this in 2004 was a complete fucking utter waste, and I can't believe I own this, that it's in my possession, and I'm shocked it exists, honestly. But the torture has just begun, you guys, because we got 11 more days of this. It's 12 days of plug-and-plays. Thanks for watching. Tune in tomorrow for the next one. Ugh.